And we are live. I'm Adam. That is Cyrus. That is Miles backwards, and Mike down there who has a jersey for sale. Welcome to Four Guys in the Football. We are back. This is season 3. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
I'm wonderful.
We haven't done this since draft day.
No, that is the last time we did it. Was draft day, and you know what? I didn't post that as far as the actual podcast goes. I listened to it. I was like, I'm just gonna leave it up on the YouTube because, yeah. Anyways,
it's 10 o'clock here in Florida.
All right.
He's in Florida now, folks. He was once in Denver. Now he's in Florida.
No, he was not in Denver. He was in Boulder.
Well,
he might not the college town.
Yes.
Did y'all watch any preseason over the weekend? Anybody catch any of it? Nor did I. We were just talking
10 seconds of it.
Yeah, so we were just talking. All I've done is really read about it. But so the biggest thing that really stuck out to me, and this is just a personal thing, is that Justin Fields come out and say that he thought the game was a little slow. I'm having a hard time really comprehending that. I'm having a hard time, thinking how that's a good idea to come out, and say something as
his mad confidence rating is like 101.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, you can tell as he was coming out that he's just had it. He has a chip on his shoulder. He absolutely does. He thought that he should have went number 1. Now, what did he do? What did he do in college exactly?
He did well.
Did he?
He did well, but there's an argument that he didn't really face any defense, from what I understand. I mean, which in the league, in the conference that he played in is not far from accurate as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not the SEC.
No.
So,
It's not, yeah, so he's Ohio? Is that where he came from?
Yes. And I mean, he played well in college, but and he has a lot of talent. There's no denying that. But
I don't remember them making it to the championship game.
He ran very hot and cold. Yes, they went far last year. Yes, he was streaky. He ran hot and cold. So
yes,
that's my takeaway.
So this idiot, I'm just gonna be blunt. He really shouldn't have said that. I understand he was kind of trying to talk in context because he's playing against that Bears defense in practice, but he is playing against the Rams defense in week 1. Aaron Donald, I think 3-time defensive player of the year, who's known for just crushing people on the field.
Oh, he's gonna light it up. He's gonna get lit up.
He is a rookie quarterback who did all right in a couple series in a preseason game. A lot of quarterbacks can say that.
But here's the thing. Even week 1, they go out and play the Rams. He's not starting. As of right now, Andy Dalton is still the starter. I don't know how long that will last.
QB2, and he's talking about how the game is slow.
Yeah, well, he's the day.
He'll figure it out quick, won't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out, all right. Because he's basically calling the team slow. He's calling his opponent slow. Is what he's doing.
Who do they play week 1 of the preseason?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. None of them are playing right now.
Most of them are going up against their second and third stringers anyway.
Who was a winning team last year, and I'm pretty sure even though the Bears made the playoffs, I'm pretty sure the Dolphins had a better record.
Dude, the preseason is one step above the Pro Bowl as far as, how hard they play.
It's actually more – I would put it a step below the Pro Bowl and more above the college all-star game.
It's bad.
It's
the Bears, man, he's going to really have an uphill climb. They've got a weak start to the schedule, which means it's going to be tough to get Dalton onto the bench because they start out with the Rams. Then there's the Bengals, which I don't think they're scaring anybody yet. Then the Browns, which will probably be hot and cold this year, and the Lions, and then the Raiders. But then after that, they've got nothing but playoff teams, like almost the entire rest of the schedule, which means if he gets into the season, which as everybody expects that he will, about week 5, 6, 7, he's going to be playing like top tier defenses most of the way. I would have shut my mouth. Just saying.
That's if Fred Rifle doesn't keep his job.
be a bigger surprise.
So what quarterback is going to make the most impact as far as the rookie class goes? Is there one?
This year or all?
This year. The rookie class that just came out, you got Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, sorry, and dude from Cyrus, you just told me before we came on.
Trey Lance.
Jets.
I already said Trey Lance, the guy in New York.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
I can tell you what I think. If you'd like
Please
to hear.
do. Yes, I do.
I think that by default, Trevor Lawrence is going to have a lot of play time, and it could go either way. But he's going to have a lot of play time. He's not. There's no one else that's going to be in front of him. There's really nobody behind him. He's going to play a lot. However, I think Mac Jones is going to have the biggest opportunity, and I think if he can capitalize on that, then he will be the star of this year, the star rookie quarterback of this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't think Bill Belichick is in love with Cam Newton.
Oh, absolutely not. But he's the best option.
Cam Newton's going to get hurt early. That's my idea, anyway. He's old. He's already very injury prone. I could see Mac Jones ending up starting week 3 or 4, honestly.
Yes.
Part of me wonders if Belichick didn't bring Cam Newton back just as a ringer, knowing that he was going to be easy to beat out, that he was going to get hurt or benched within a couple of weeks. And then that's going to give the rookie a sense of like, hey, I won the job instead of I was handed the job. Yes. And that's a total Belichickian move if that's how it played out.
I could see that. But honestly, the quarterback who's going to be the star of this class, and it seems obvious, but also understated because no one's talking about him because, well, no one talks about Jacksonville. Sorry, Adam. Trevor Lawrence is going to – the Jags are going to – if the Trevor Lawrence lives up to the hype, the Jags are going to have 8 or 9 wins this year. That offense has a lot of talent on it, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Jacksonville has silently built a pretty good offense down there, and if Trevor Lawrence lives up to the hype, they're going to be pretty all right.
I just saw on ESPN before I got on here. They had the James Robinson, the running back last year, the rookie, did a great job. I thought he did great,
phenomenal.
They have another running back, and I guess it's the guy they drafted. They have him ranked above him.
Yeah, that was a dumb pick. Still, I mean, he's a good talent, but I don't know what.
Apparently, what are you talking about? ETN?
Yes.
Oh no, I agree with that pick. That's thunder and lightning. You've got it bottled up there. I think the ETN could be the power back, and the other guy's going to be the.
I'm not saying that, but they have him ranked above Robinson.
Yes,
I think it's because of his draft slot.
He's not a bad running back, man. I do not think it's going to be a bad situation for Jacksonville at all.
That Jacksonville offense is going to be great. It's too bad the defense is way too many question marks.
No, they have him ranked better as a running back because he's a running back, where Robinson was a flex kind of guy. ETN is a straight running back.
I think it could work. I don't know that it will. I have too many questions about Urban Meyer and what he's bringing to the table. He hasn't really shown a penchant for making like really sharp decisions early on. The Tebow thing, I think, looms large, but it's not just about that. It's about the assistant coach he brought on, then had to let go after 10 days because the players had an upheaval. There's a lot of other little things, and so I'm kind of looking at this like it could either be like a tinderbox ready to blow, or it could work really, really well. I don't think you're going to have an 8, or if they don't have 8-8 seasons anymore, a 9-8 season down there. I think it's either going to be good or they're going to fall apart real fast. It's going to be there's no way to know right now at all.
I almost think Tebow was brought in as a way to, if any media is down there, they're not down there for Lawrence, at least when Tebow was there. And also it sold a good amount of jerseys.
I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see Urban Meyer being real conservative this first year, especially if things go south. I feel like he's gonna. I feel like a lot of the load is going to be on Trevor Lawrence, and it's going to depend on how he does as to whether or not they play well. But I agree with Mike; it's going to be one extreme to the other. I don't think it's going to be this middle of the road stuff. I really don't.
Yeah, and the division is really, really weak. Outside of the Titans, there is no competition in the division.
I don't know, man. The Colts,
no one's expecting anything at Houston or really Indianapolis, with or without Wentz.
I don't know, man. The Colts are sneaky because, like, even when they're bad, they're contending. It's weird.
No. They suck. No, they suck.
Yes,
I
they
want that to be
absolutely
true. Okay,
fucking-
I'm always in denial.
I'm with Cyrus. I think that they're a 10 and 17, 11 and 6.
They're not going to
Colts.
win the division, but the Colts
No.
are always sneaky good. It's weird.
I think Adam just
Unless
lost
they're
a lot of
tanking
money
for
on
a
something.
quarterback.
I'm with you.
Fuck the Colts.
I
Fuck
hate the
national
Colts,
media.
okay?
No.
I hate them.
No.
But unless
no,
they're
just
tanking for a quarterback, they're never
No.
bad.
Give me a second. Let me talk.
Okay.
All I've been hearing for the past week out of all the national media is how the Titans are not leading in the division as far as one of the favorites to win our division. The Colts are still up there. And
Who's
it makes
saying
no
that?
sense. It's all over the radio, dude. All ESPN news and all that shit. No one gives the Titans any credit or any credibility for owning this division. They still have the Colts up there with them because Wentz isn't going to be out for long.
No. Well, I mean, what does Indianapolis have? They got Darius Leonard and some really good pieces on defense that they've held together for a few years. But beyond that,
Nothing.
What?
Taylor. They got Taylor.
They're a
They
decently
got
coached
Ty.
unit.
Ty. Wait,
Dude,
you guys forget-
Ty is pretty old.
been done.
Yeah.
He has
No,
been
no,
done.
no.
He
Yes.
got locked
Yes.
up by an old man on Thursday Night Football last year. It was pretty bad.
No, he's still a productive receiver.
No, he's
Productive,
not.
yeah. He's productive as far as the receivers that they've had. I agree. I don't think that he's going to scare anybody. I don't think they've got really enough behind him to kind of grow the rest of the offense. And that's really what they lacked last year. Phillip Rivers carried a lot of the situations. He was kind of managing the game, and he would either win or lose the game in the fourth quarter, which is kind of good for them. But at the same time, the defense, kept it close. And you have a couple of injuries on defense this year. I think it's going to expose them. I think the Titans run away in this division, not because I'm biased, which I am, but because I think that clearly the rest of the teams in the division, there's a talent gap. Jacksonville can make it up. I don't think Indy or Houston will.
The NFC South, there's only one. AFC South. There's only one team that is guaranteed basically to be comically bad, and it's the Texans. The Texans are going to be ridiculously awful.
Yeah.
They might they'll probably win a game, but it might be a game. It's because nothing's going right down there. I think they all hate each other. It's really bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
All right.
I will. Can I get my answer on the rookie quarterback?
Yes.
I totally fucked that up. So I think out of all of them, I'm going to take Trey Lance and by just a little bit. I think.
I'm with you on that.
Really?
I agree. Yes, I agree.
Listen to you guys.
I do.
There's three main components on how a rookie quarterback can do well in this league. One of those components is talent, which I think he has. Number two is the situation that you're put in, and as far as talent around you, and three is the offense. I think 2 and 3 are probably better with him than with any other quarterback. I would say Lawrence wins on talent alone, and Zach Wilson could probably win on talent alone. They're like 1A and 1B. But I think Trey Lance is in the best situation to succeed. They're 2 years removed from a Super Bowl, and they haven't lost a lot of players. Most of them are still there.
This is for the San Francisco, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That defense is really good.
Yeah, they got 4 first-round picks on the D line or something stupid.
Where did Trey Lance come from? What college?
I could do.
Trey Lance came from North Dakota State.
That's right. I knew it was some bizarre shit.
FCS, baby.
Canada's football mecca.
We'll see, man. That's bold. I'm saying that's bold on your part, Mike. We'll see about that.
I'll take bold. I've gone with the best odds before and lost. So what's the difference?
I will interject this little thought. I'm pretty sure the Colts have a pretty solid offensive line.
That always helps.
No, they suck.
Yeah.
I think
That'll help their situation.
That offensive line on paper, at least, is really solid. But other than that, they don't really have a lot of weapons. Mac's a pretty all right running back.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
That's my pick.
Yes.
Say his name.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor.
Their team it's weird.
We'll see. They're not going to be a losing team this year.
Any other sneaky contenders in the NFL?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more predictable this year than it usually is.
Which means it won't be at all.
Mike, I want to know your thoughts on the New York Jets this year, just as a whole, as a team. What do you think they'll finish?
I think they're actually going to do really well, and I think it's going to be them and Buffalo in that division. I don't have, yes, last year I started off kind of hot on Tua, and the more he played, the more I'm like, man, I don't know. He's going to have to really turn it up this year, and the pressure's going to be on him. He's not going to have Fitzpatrick to close the games out and all that type of stuff. But the Jets, man, you take a team that is hungry, that's come off a couple losing seasons, that gets a new quarterback like this, gets all the right pieces in there, and a new coach, they could really pull up and do some damage at an opportune time. I'm not saying 100% that they will, but I think it's more likely than not they'll have a winning season this year.
I concur.
That AFC East is going to be a dogfight this year.
I think the Jets are going to have a little something to cheer for this year. I really do.
I hope for the sake of their fan base sanity, they do that. Big grief.
All right, so take it back up.
I ain't no fucking host. All right, so one of the things I wanted to discuss is the disrespect that Ryan Tannehill gets all over this league. So the other day I was listening. I go to work pretty early. I got about 45-minute to an hour drive. So I listened to, for some reason, the only thing on between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. is Keyshawn Johnson and a couple other guys on ESPN radio. And I really do believe that Keyshawn Johnson has a major issue with Ryan Tannehill because he's got him. He doesn't even put him in the top 10 quarterbacks who are starting right now. And so a list just come out the other day. I'm trying to pull it up on my side over here, but for some reason it's not working.
Every year, man. It's always going to be, they won because of Henry, or when they lose because of Tannehill. And this year it's the same thing because now they got all these receivers. And if he does well, it's because of all the talent around him. And if they lose, it's because of him. He can't win.
So as a player, they have Tannehill ranked 83rd. Here's some of the players that are ahead of him on this list. Chris Godwin is ahead of him as a player. Kyler Murray is ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
I don't.
I don't. How do you see that? Please explain to me this fascination of Kyler Murray. Please explain this to me.
I think with old boy there on the radio, the main thing he's talking about is Ryan Tannehill is your second option with the Titans. Your first option is Derrick Henry. That's the way it was last year, anyhow. Right? Is that incorrect to say that? Is he not your first offensive weapon?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
I think it depends on the situation, but
it is situational.
A case can be made.
It is situational. I agree, but I think that's what he's going with because Kyler Murray is your first choice. The other guy that you mentioned is your first choice. Your first choice on offense is not Ryan Tannehill with the Titans.
That's why first choice in Arizona is not Kyler Murray. It's DeAndre Hopkins. No, it's not.
No. It's either It's Kyler Murray throwing to DeAndre Hopkins.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta.
But any quarterback, no, dude, they got Baker Mayfield ahead of Ryan Tannehill. Baker Mayfield at 71. Oh my God.
Hold on. No. First of all,
how in this debate think that?
Statistically, Ryan Tannehill was a top 5 quarterback this year. End of story, end of debate. It doesn't matter how it's looked at. Statistically, Ryan Tannehill was a top 5 quarterback this season. Let's get with that. That's the end of that.
Okay, now, if you want to start talking stats like that, though, couldn't you throw, people that have what's a good one that we just talked about not too long ago? Ryan Fitzpatrick, or not Ryan Fitzpatrick, but damn. I can't think of who it was, but stats. I mean, he's not a playmaker, and that Baker Mayfield's a playmaker.
I could show
Kyler
you.
Murray's a playmaker.
Even in intangible stats, he led 4 or 5 game-winning comebacks last year.
Josh Jacobs is not a playmaker, and he's ranked 68th. I'm still on this ranking thing. Okay. I'm still pissed off.
This is a top. Adam's talking about the NFL Top 100, which is voted on by NFL
players.
This is. I could see radio. Seriously. I could see radio guys taking the popular Mayfield and Murray because Mayfield and Murray play in popular markets and whatever, and that's fine. But the NFL Top 100, this is ridiculous. In 2020, this This is the NFL Top 100 for when Ryan Tannehill replaced the season. He replaced Marcus Mariota halfway through. He was ranked 68th, Tannehill, right? And despite improving in every statistical category,
and even going to a championship game,
he did not go to the. He was ranked 83rd instead of 68th this year, despite improving in every statistical category and winning more games and winning the division. I don't know what else to say.
These things are kind of pockmarked in these lists to get people to debate on it. I tell you another one, Chris Sims. He puts these top 10 quarterback lists up there and has like Aaron Rodgers ranked number 1 and everybody else is all scrambled. Tom Brady's not on the list. Like, people do this stuff to get people to talk about it. Well, hey, they got us.
Well,
but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, I don't buy that shit at all. And it doesn't matter to me. I think the other factor of it, or at least a part of this whole scenario, is the fact that Ryan Tannehill plays in a small market team. You know, we don't get a lot of national coverage, so people just kind of conveniently forget about it. Derrick Henry is like a Hall of Famer in his prime, and Ryan Tannehill is the guy that's kind of like carrying his jock a little bit, and people just aren't going to give him the credit he's due ever.
Unless by some playoff miracle we win a Super Bowl or something. Then they might talk about Tannehill a little bit, but
yeah, as long as they did about Brad Johnson. Anyhow, that's my point.
Brad Johnson, dude, now he can't even get in the top 50 on the 100. Now we're comparing him to Brad Johnson. Like,
hey, I'm saying,
shit.
man, that's him and Alex Smith
more
are
like
gonna
Jacob
be
Delhomme.
hanging out after this. Okay,
he's more like Delhomme.
Him and Alex Smith are going to be having cocktails after all this is over. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is the type of player he is. He's not a. I don't dislike Tannehill. I promise you, I do not dislike him. But this is where he is, and this is what he's going to stay, unless he wins a Super Bowl. Yes.
And even if he wins a Super Bowl, it's not going to matter.
It might not.
No, it won't. It won't, because it's not going to be him doing it unless he. All right. So when they shut down Derrick Henry, can he win the game? Can he win the game when they shut down Derrick Henry?
Maybe with a Julio Jones. Yeah,
he has before.
Not in the playoff. He hasn't.
No, not in the playoffs.
Not in the playoffs.
Not yet. We'll see with these insane weapons he has now.
What, Julio?
Oh, I mean, they still need another tight end.
Yeah. So I heard an interesting stat just a little bit earlier. Did you know that Julio Jones has 8 or 9 more yards on average on every shit? Fuck that. Never mind.
He had it. And he
Yeah,
lost it.
he has this ridiculous stat that he's got more yards than any other wide receiver per game, like by 8 or 9 yards.
What
Even
yards
over
per
Calvin
game?
Johnson. Yes. Or no, it's yards per play.
Or is it catches per game? Because he averages some sick amount of catches per game.
No, it's yards because he averaged 8 or 9 more yards per play.
I gotcha. I'm with you.
More than Calvin Johnson, which I would never.
He doesn't score.
Exactly. That's what they're talking about, is that he doesn't get the touchdowns.
Yeah.
For some reason, when he gets in the red zone, it's just like it goes away.
Yes, it
I
does.
think that's
And
where
this
a
is
guy where
perfect time.
AJ Brown comes in, because AJ Brown has shown in lots of games over the past 2 years is really good in the red zone.
Yes.
Right.
He is. Dude,
The problem is there is no tight end. There is no Jonnu Smith. There is no Delaney Walker, and that's kind of what worries me.
I think they can get by
This
for
team
a
has
year.
relied on tight ends in the red zone a lot over the last 6 years or so.
I mean, we don't have anybody.
I think they can get by. They got Ferkser, who's kind of come on just a little bit. He's not.
I like Andy I like Anthony Ferkser a lot, but
Yeah,
he's definitely not Jonnu Smith.
No, he's like an H-back and kind of fit in the rotation. He's not going to take over a game, but for what they do, I think it's enough for them to get by this year. And they basically had to go, the route of like, we're going to load up on receivers, we're going to draft a tight end high, and they felt like this is a better play. We'll see how it goes, but if they don't make it very far in the playoffs, or if they don't even get to the playoffs, that may be a reason why.
Agreed.
If they don't make the playoffs, that's a red flag with this roster.
That's not going to happen.
That's a red flag.
To quickly interject with your ESPN fantasy football question, this is a perfect time. You want players that score touchdowns. As far as yards and whatnot, it doesn't really matter. Your kicker can also score more than your receiver on any given Sunday.
Kicker's important.
So don't worry about yards per carry or any of that other bullshit. Worry simply about touchdowns. Get a good kicker, and hope for the best.
Right. Well, speaking of fantasy, let's jump into that. So, Miles, how many leagues are you going to be playing in this year?
I don't know. Right now, I'm just doing the public, and then I'm doing our league. And today, in the public draft that I did, I had some takeaways from it. I don't know that I did terribly, but my quarterback situation is ridiculous. But I think I messed up there. There's tons of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
When you go to draft, I'm talking 4th, 5th round.
Yeah.
There are so many freaking quarterbacks. It's insane. Running backs is obviously just insanely small amount. I mean, that's got to be everybody's first round pick is a running back. It doesn't matter what your scoring system is. It doesn't matter any of it. The running back is your first or second, maybe both. I mean, it's slim freaking pickings. Tight ends this year. I see more tight ends that you could wait until like 6th round to get a nice tight end with no issue.
Really?
Maybe 7th or 8th, man. There's 10 tight ends out there right now that are. I'd take anyone as a 6th, 7th rounder, 8th.
Right.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Wide receivers was also pretty heavy. I mean, I don't feel. Of course, there's your cream of the crop, but I mean, I felt like that was a pretty open field. I feel like you could wait till, 3rd, 4th round.
Are you drafting a PPR league?
Yes. Well, no, this is standard scoring.
Okay.
But I would be, and that needs to go said. Thank you for that. But that's kind of the way I wrap my head around it. I mean, like I said, I haven't been keeping up with football at all. And I jumped in and Patrick Mahomes, in my head, doesn't really matter what kind of scoring you're keeping. If he's available, in a first round, I took him because he's been that fantastic over the past couple of years. So, But afterwards, I regretted it because I just was not certain. I didn't realize how thin the running back core was this year, man. It is thin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be people that pop up. But your initial reaction when you look at the board to draft, you're like, whoa, there is nobody here.
See, I've got the first pick in that draft I'm doing next week. And I don't remember, maybe I have, but I don't remember having the first pick before. And I really don't care for the pressure. I really don't care for it.
Yeah,
right now, they've got McCaffrey. Sorry, it's the first pick overall.
Can't do that, man. I can't do that after last year, that motherfucker.
I don't know why everybody has him ranked over everybody else. It doesn't make sense to me because of his injury risk.
And, not just, because he got an additional injury at the end of last year. When he came back, he fucked up his shoulder.
Yep.
And they pulled him immediately. And so I'm just like, how do we know that he's even ready?
I don't envy the person who always drafts first overall because it seems so obvious, and then you draft them.
No,
and
it's not.
And then you have buyer's remorse.
Because here's my problem with picking Derrick Henry, dude. Is he's ready for a down year? He's ready to start slowing down.
It seems that way.
Insane. Yeah. It's insane.
I know. Dude just got 2,000 yards last year. It's time for him to start coming on, on the backside of it.
We lived through a 2,000-yard season in Tennessee once, and it usually it didn't go well. I mean, it went all right the year after, and then it tapered off really bad.
And the formula for running backs who get as many carries as he did the last 2-3 seasons in a row, there's usually a sharp decline. He's kept his body in
carries he's been getting since high school.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
And he's a beast, dude. He's a beast. He's 6'3", 250, just solid muscle. And
he's a genetic freak.
Yeah, dude. He is. I'll give him that. But at the same time, Dalvin Cook's out there. No one's really talking about him. But, dude, he tore it up last year. Why are you shaking your head no?
Hey, he's injury prone as well, man.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't. Minnesota doesn't get really broadcasted here very much.
Yeah,
so.
man. He's
had some injuries in the past.
What's that, Mike?
So he misses the occasional game.
Well, come on. Let's be fair. He's probably missed on an average over the past 3 years, 3 or 4 games each season.
No. Well, he had one season that he was starting out really hot. I think it was his rookie year. He started out kind of hot, and then he missed the whole rest of the year with I want to say it's an ACL. But now, to your point, man, running back is thin, and this is one of those years I typically don't draft a lot of rookies high. I probably would go in, pretty steep on a rookie this year, like maybe second, third round, and just bank on the fact that they're going to get in there and crack the lineup. I don't know exactly who yet. I have to kind of really look at the rankings and make a determination. But the thing about tight ends, too, that you were saying, usually you have like 1, 2, maybe 3 marquee names. Then there's this huge drop to number 4, and everybody's about the same. Well, this year you have a lot of guys who've been featured in offenses that are, really about the same across the board, except for maybe Kelsey. And yeah, being able to wait for tight end is huge because then you can load up on running backs.
So unless your name is Kittle or Kelsey, it's a pretty steep plateau from there.
Oh, you're crazy! You are insane.
There's a lot of great talent.
You've got
but
what's the guy on the Rams?
Top 4 rounds taking a tight end.
You can put up a lot of points for the guys in the second
PPR league. Going Kittle or Kelsey's in the early rounds is a great idea.
Well, sure, in PPR, but I mean, I love PPR. Don't get me wrong, but the majority of people that I feel like play leagues now is standard scoring. I mean, that's the default setting when you go to Yahoo and free leagues. So
fair enough.
It's unfortunate, but yes, I feel like as far as scoring touchdowns, there are at least 10 tight ends that you can have.
Yeah, like a Darren Waller, even like a Mercedes Lewis, a guy who's going to be playing with Aaron Rodgers, and he's just going to get some like pity balls at some point. And then some guys who kind of jump in there and make a name for themselves this year. I mean, because they're starting to, you're seeing now the accumulation of years and years of them drafting a better version of tight end. Like these guys that come out that are athletic freaks. They're no longer just inline blockers that go out for routes. These guys are, what Gronk was 10, 11 years ago. Now they're drafting that type of player every year in the top 10 rounds. And, I think
I'm still here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we know.
That was close. Thought we lost you, man.
Oh, that wasn't a fart, man. That was my ice machine.
No, I know. We know.
Oh, okay.
I can mute him.
Sorry.
All good. Yeah, but you can get somebody that'll work out. The show.
Yeah.
Cyrus, I'm questioning what you got going on here, Cyrus, because usually you're pretty full of wisdom here. But I think I want to play against you in fantasy.
I'm not as good at fantasy as I used to be. Last year really sucked the wind out of me. It was bizarre watching everyone in the league get injured at once.
Well, that did happen.
It was like a Thanos snap. It was weird.
Yeah, it was last year was different. That's for certain. But my problem is I don't know half the players anymore. It's hard to keep up with who the fuck is. The average NFL career is really 3 years. That's it. That's the average NFL career is 3 years.
Dude,
so
you're not giving yourself enough credit. When you see the draft list and you get on the first draft, you're gonna see a lot of names that you recognize.
Well, just because I recognize them doesn't mean they're worth the fuck, though.
They'll be up there. Is what I'm saying.
Fantasy
top of the
is
list.
hard anymore.
Right. What'd you say, Cyrus?
Fantasy is really hard now because the depth to it and the strategies have gotten. It used to be I can gamble on a couple rookies, take the obvious picks early, and kind of coast on free agency from there and still have a really good record. And now it's
that's still possible. That's how I still play, and I came in second.
Okay, that's exactly like what you do. Is this Ryan? Did Ryan get on the microphone? What the fuck?
It's basically who I was taught by.
Oh my god! No. Fantasy is just as wonderful as it's ever been, and you need to stop
And you know what? There's different quarterbacks in the game now, so
Yes.
you know.
I remember like one of my first years of fantasy. This is way like I'm like 8 or 9 because my dad was in like, oh, you joined the league, little 9-year-old. I drafted Vince Young, and he got like more rushing yards for me most weeks than passing yards.
That's whatever works.
He was like one of the only quarterback in the league at that time doing that, and it was weird.
Jesus Christ, that was that long ago. You were 9. Good God.
I was.
But here, let me just give you guys a quick example of how my quarterback.
Adam's sad
went.
now.
Okay.
What's that?
Just let me give you a quick example of how my quarterback drafting went.
Okay.
I told you I got Pat Mahomes in the first round.
Yes.
I got Aaron Rodgers in the 7th round on accident. I walked away, and he was the next one in my queue.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This happens a lot. This happens
in
a
the
lot
7th round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in a league with 10 teams, so 10
Yeah, I've got 12 in the. I've got 12 coming up in this draft next week.
Right. You can bank that at some point there's going to be a run on quarterbacks after the first couple skill position, groups thin down. And then once those guys start to get your marquee Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes type names, then they're not going to be drafting quarterbacks for a while. But usually, if you want like a top 15 quarterback, he's going to be there for a long time. And I've really gone down and beat the hell out of some leagues by doing this strategy and taking like a Tony Romo or a Dak Prescott before he was like Dak now, and these guys that are kind of like not first thought sort of guys, and taking them in like the 7th, 8th round because they're going to be there sometimes even later than that. And by doing that, the first 5, 6 rounds you can get so much depth, skill positions, running back, tight end, wide receiver, get 2, 3 deep in one of those spots. And when you start having injuries and bye weeks, dude, you'll absolutely kick the shit out of people. The other thing I don't do too is I don't take a backup quarterback in the draft at all. I completely just zero that out, make sure it's all skill positions until I have a bye week, because on that bye week, I'm going to be able to grab somebody who can at least just fill the spot for 1 week. And the rest of the year, I have that roster spot kind of flexible to move people around. And it's helped me a lot more than it's hurt me.
Interesting.
I agree with this sentiment 100%. My draft selection was poor, and I would totally redo it again if I could have the chance, because I like I said, Aaron Rodgers was drafted on accident. I walked away from the computer. He was my next in queue. But Patrick Mahomes, I could have got in the 7th round, dude. I could have got him in the 6th or 7th round. Patrick Mahomes, just like you said.
You had the Jake from State Farm team, man. You had both guys. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, but what's for? It's pointless. Like you said, I mean, unless one of them gets injured, I'm only going to have one bye week where I'm going to need it. So it's really a waste.
But you're keeping it. Well, it's not wasted because you're keeping it from someone else. I mean, if someone else has
to trade it later for a known commodity.
Say it forces someone to barter with you.
Yes, to trade later is something.
Yes,
you have a great ship.
So many quarterbacks, man. It's insane.
So who did you get for the running backs? Who'd you pick up?
Yes, that's where I really didn't do very well, to be honest with you. I got Ronald Jones, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that, but it's not a solid starting running core. Jonathan Taylor, again, I'm okay with it, but it's not the top 5 by any means. And then I've got Zach Moss was one of my later rounds, and that's it. I've got 3 running backs.
Man, you know what's killing
excuse me. Myles Gaskin. I've got Myles Gaskin, another one. See, I've got a bunch of ones that are kind of later round picks where I really wish I would have used my earlier round pick to get a running back.
You just don't have the teams out there right now that have the bell cow backs anymore, and they split it now. It's not even just a 2-back system. It's kind of like a rotation with, you have a 3rd down guy, then you have kind of like 2 different 1st, 2nd down guys that can kind of come.
And that's what it was in Tampa Bay last year. That's exactly how they ran it in Tampa Bay.
So you have 3 guys that get 600 yards apiece, and it helps nobody.
Nope.
No.
And it cycles.
It helps their team. But for us fantasy play, I mean, let's talk about what's really important here. Yeah, no shit. Fuck the team. I'm worried about my points.
My team.
Right.
Damn right. So when do y'all want to get together and do this again?
I don't know. Are you kicking me out already?
Oh, I mean, it's awfully late for you, isn't it? It's almost
I
11
know.
o'clock your time, isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
You never make these considerations for me, but hey, Miles moves to Florida. Now we can shut it down early.
Jeez.
We're up to 40 minutes, going on 41 already. So
Okay.
Hey, I got one more thing I wanted to throw in.
Yeah.
So Jamal Adams signed his contract with the Seahawks after this whole back and forth of, they were going to try to franchise him every year. I think it's a bad move. Just kind of wanted to put that out there. I think the whole thing from the get-go to get him on the team, to give up 2 first-rounders and whatever else they did, and then now to sign him to this, mega deal contract for a safety, a guy who's probably going to average an 8 or 9 year career at best. I think it's terrible. I'm kind of curious how this is going to affect the rest of the roster because they've got a lot of other big contracts they got to take care of. Wagner is going to be he's a big cap hit. Russell Wilson, who's the other guy? Dwayne Brown's holding out because he's not getting paid. You got to have an offensive lineman. So I don't really know what the hell they're doing there, but it is what it is. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to sign it. I didn't expect them to get it done, but they did. In hindsight, it would almost be better for Seattle if they just dared him to walk away in free agency.
I think this is Seattle's last year to make a serious run in the playoffs. I think after this year, that team is going to be a lot different from the outside looking in.
This might be Pete Carroll's last run in general.
It may very well be. I don't know about that.
In Seattle.
In Seattle, yes, I'll give you that. He may be on the hot seat, absolutely. But I think as the team that we're seeing going into Seattle, going into the season, brother, this may be their last season as a team.
Yeah, there's a big shift of power in that division too. So Russell Wilson's always going to be good. Yeah, Russell Wilson's always been good. Pete Carroll, I guess, as long as he wants to stick around, will always, kind of coach his offense and keep things together. But they're going to have an issue restocking talent in a timely manner. They're going to have a couple of down years coming up, I think, with or without Wilson. So, I just thought it was kind of weird because, I mean, you just don't hear about these big safety deals and teams that go on to do, Super Bowl type championships and really being in the playoffs every year because they paid defensive backs a lot of money.
And I'm throwing this out there: starting franchise quarterbacks have not been fans of being part of rebuilds. So watch out for that if they do want to rebuild. Yep. Russell Wilson may all of a sudden be not as happy.
I'm not going to disagree with any of this sentiment here that you guys are explaining, but I will say this. I feel like ever since they were in the Super Bowl, which was how many years ago now? 7. 2. That was that. Oh my God, 2 years ago.
The 1 year Garoppolo played.
Yeah, I feel like they've since then the past couple of years. I viewed them as this kind of scrappy rope-a-dope team, and each time I've been wrong. They've come and they've clawed their way. They found a way to win games. They will make it over 500 this year.
We're going to be good this year. I think it's
to be able to say that with all that goes on there since the Super Bowl appearance is impressive, to say the least. I mean, it happens. They're not every year, the past couple of years before the season starts. I'm not impressed with Seattle. Yet they go over 500.
They've always been able to kind of find these late round or undrafted type guys. I always think of like a Doug Baldwin or a Cam Chancellor, or those type of guys that sort of rise up in the midst of the team, not like in the draft board, and then get taken with a high pick because they give away their first rounder every year. But at some point, the teams that really do well on this type of formula year after year, at some point you're just going to hit a wall. You just can't find the Julian Edelmans and those type of players in the late rounds every single year. So I don't know. But I agree with you.
We'll see. I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's something that's not you. I mean, look at Belichick. I mean, he's managed to make. Is Carroll trying to fill that path, the Belichick path, with not getting these glamorous picks, but trying to find these down the line guys? I mean, I'm not saying he's as successful as Belichick, but they have yet to fall under 500 when I thought that they surely would. That's all I'll say.
Agreed.
They are very they do have lots of perseverance.
Yes.
So Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers.
I think they're going to be scrappy as shit. I think they're going to have a fucking 12-5, 13-4, easily.
They're going to
This
be
is
good.
it.
Yes.
It's our
They're gonna
last
be
shot.
good.
The last dance, everybody.
They're going to be
So,
good.
is this Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think he retires or just go?
No.
No. Where's he
Oh,
going to go?
Don't know that. But
To the
he's not gonna
highest
retire.
bidder in the
Yeah.
best market.
I bet he goes to Atlanta next year.
That'd be interesting.
The highest
Yep.
bidder in the best market.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's about money and marketing for Aaron Rodgers at this point. Well, and
Yep, I agree.
championship contention. That's
Sure,
probably
yeah,
a thing
yeah.
too. But market's a big deal. Money is probably a deal. And contention.
Atlanta. Why do you say Atlanta, Mike?
Matt Ryan's done after this year. Matt Ryan was
yeah.
probably done after last year,
Yeah.
and they kept him around so they can kind of start the rebuild without having to take a quarterback and have a bad team around him. So they got Kyle Pitts and some other guys. They got some bit players. They got a new coach, so it kind of buys everybody that extra year. And then next year, if they have like a down season, they'll have a high draft pick. They'll get somebody good, whoever a top 2 or 3 ranked quarterback, or they're going to get Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers is on the market, he'd be like the one piece that they would need to really be competitive in that division. I think they could fight off a lot of other teams if they just had somebody who could win those close games in the fourth quarter. Ryan can't do it.
Would he want to play in such a similar system that what he just got out of, though? Arthur Smith, at least the offense he ran in Tennessee, was basically just an offshoot of what LaFleur was running.
Yep.
And still running in Green Bay.
That is a good point.
Oof.
Yeah, I think he would.
I think New Orleans.
I could maybe see that, but their cap situation's not looking too great.
I think he would be good in New Orleans.
He'd be entertaining to watch Kamara and Rodgers do things.
Speaking of which, what's Michael Thomas's situation right now?
I don't know. Everybody's talking a lot of shit about him, though.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Because but is he going to play this year? I guess is the question I'm asking.
Well, he waited forever to get the surgery, so his rehab kind of started at the beginning of the season, which caused this whole issue with them and the Saints. But I think he is going to be able to come back. I think they'll still be able to get trade value for him. They're saying all the right things to try to make it seem like, if someone makes us an offer, we're not going to take a low ball. But I think he does get traded. I don't think he's going to stick around. I think Sean Payton doesn't want somebody on the team that's going to do that kind of stuff because they don't really have that steadying influence. When you have a Drew Brees, it can cover up a lot of warts, and it can kind of, bring people to their senses a little faster. When you have Jameis Winston fighting with Taysom Hill for a starting job, you really don't need this shit on top of it.
No.
He should be healthy around week 6, is from what I've seen. So, depending on what happens there.
What's
He
that?
is.
So you can get those slant routes in.
He is the most overrated good player in football.
He's the most overrated good player.
As in, he's like statistically, it's hard to like argue with how good he is statistically, but like he really only has one route.
That's what you're saying. One trick pony.
It's not even like in a Randy Moss sort of way either, where Randy just kind of ran wherever he wants. No, this dude literally has a slant.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, it worked for him, though, or it worked for him anyways. So I think that's going to be a dumpster fire down there this year, personally.
Gotta love it.
I mean, there's some veteran leadership there. So
Is there?
To some degree.
Leadership, is that the veteran leadership you want? The fucking 30 interceptions in one season veteran?
Listen, that dude is either flipped 180 or he is going to be a dumpster fire. You're right. It's going to be one extreme or the other.
It is. It's definitely going to be one or the other. It's not going to be both with him.
No.
And then Taysom Hill is going to do a really bad Cam Newton impression.
Yes. I hope not. I root for the guy because everybody roots against him. I
don't even root against him. He's just I don't know why people blast him. He seems like a perfectly affable fellow.
You
all the talking heads are like, he's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback.
He's never been given an opportunity.
Lamar Jackson's barely a quarterback.
Well, they all said the same thing about him, and I'm sorry, no, he's not a quarterback. He's a wildcat formation quarterback. That's it.
I agree. Lamar Jackson's really he's even throttled it back over the last couple seasons from where he was. Like, he throws even less, and he relies more on his legs. But Taysom Hill, like, when he's in the game playing quarterback, they don't really give him like a quarterback type of offense to play in. They still kind of use him as a gimmick player who's taking more snaps.
Yep.
So we don't really know what we have.
I agree.
They don't know what they have.
Yep. And he's older. I understand that. He's in his late 20s, but we've never seen him play. I mean, wasn't there some games last year that he played?
And he did well. He did great.
And he did what he did. And it wasn't all these trick plays either. It was actually him playing quarterback just for a short span, right? Wasn't there a time?
Because Drew Brees got hurt.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's give the guy a chance. This is Keyshawn Johnson is one of those bastards that was talking shit.
He talks shit on, man, fuck him. I used to like a lot of his commentary until I heard him talking shit on Ryan Tannehill. Like, dude, fuck you. There's nothing wrong with Tannehill. He's awesome.
I've never liked Keyshawn Johnson. Ever.
Yeah.
Not even back in his Bucks days when they won. Did he win? He won the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson, did he? I think it was.
That Bucks team did, in fact, win the Super Bowl.
With John
Mainly because the Raiders. Tom Gruden literally wrote the playbook that the Raiders used against him in the Super Bowl.
I don't like him. He's mouthy.
I don't either.
He is mouthy.
That year he got cut in the middle of the season. He was on ESPN like 2 days later as an analyst.
Yes, he was.
Which is amazing. It's hilarious.
You can't hate for that. Yeah, good for him, I guess.
Yep.
That mouth's going to get you a job. We got him a job. So we will do this again next week, but we're going to be doing a draft in our fantasy
draft.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What time is that again?
And we're going to do it an hour earlier, so 9 o'clock y'all's time, or your Mike's time. Mike, is that all right with you? I know you get the girls to bed and whatnot. Will that work out?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Later, Gator.
Good night.
Peace out, everybody.
See ya.